So hey honey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. The sun's shining over here in London, so can't complain. How have the last 4 months been for you? Have you spent it in New York City or have you been in Berlin?
I think I've been in the best place you can possibly be. Germany handled the pandemic very well. Berlin is pretty much, there is some semblance of normal life here. So it's been great. I've been super creative during this time, working on lots of remix projects, working on Honey Fucking Dijon, my brand with Comme des Garçons, and or Dover Street Market Paris. So for me, um, it was hard to get my head wrapped around the thought that I might not be DJing for the rest of 2020.
Yeah.
But I just thought I would just work on lots of music and finish a lot of projects. And my album is one of them. So I'm really excited about which my first single, Not About You, featuring Hadia George, is dropping this Friday. So I'm really excited for that.
What do you think lockdown has taught us all?
I think there has been a lot of change since. I mean, at first we were just all dealing with the shock of the pandemic, and then what happened with George Floyd opened up a whole other Pandora's box of racism and systematic racism and oppression and the violence against people of color in America, which is really a mirror of what happens to all black and brown skin around the world. But I think we were going so fast, and I can speak as an artist. I was just on a habit trail of planes, festivals, gigs, clubs, and it's very hard to say no when all you've known for a very long time is no. So it was very hard to slow down. And so I think what this pandemic, I mean, there was just so much social media obligations and technologies and festivals and gigs that I really didn't have time to focus on being an artist, what I wanted to say musically, how I even wanted to DJ. It was just like the next, the next, the next. And so I think what the pandemic or what nature has shown us is that we're not in control. I think it's also exposed the humanity of this planet, because this virus didn't matter if you were black, white, gay, straight, trans. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor. It just really, for me, was a great equalizer in a lot of ways. And I think it's something that we were going in and we weren't listening and we weren't paying attention, and it was just all about the next and how much money and how much more success, and the bigger the house, the bigger the car, more clothes, more designer this, more designer that. So I think it just was really great for us to like, what are we doing? What does this mean? What is of value? Am I happy? Does this make me happy? Am I contributing to the world? Am I aware of other people's problems? So I think it was a really great thing, even though it was a very strong and painful thing, but it's like a rebirth, and birth is painful.
Ballantines supports the headliners of tomorrow. Who are the up and coming artists who you see becoming tomorrow's headliners?
I think what I would want to see in headlining positions is more diversity, more authenticity, contributing and not just taking.
Yeah.
And some of the artists that I'm really excited about, like, are Sippin' Tea. I like what Ash Lauren is doing. I quite like what Dirty Channels is doing. Dan Shake, Dave and Sam, Josh Cafe, Question Mark out of Brooklyn. I'd like to see Derek Carter make some new records again.
Yeah.
I quite love, being in Berlin. I'm around a lot of really great talented techno producers like Fiak and Lynn Faki and Matrix Man. But I would just like to see more, like I said, more women of color. Like, it would be great to see Ash Lauren headlining festival, or Sippin' Tea, or people like Question Mark, another non-binary person of color DJing. So those are the artists that I like to see come up.
So Ballantines is all about supporting local music scenes. Which are the scenes that have been most inspiring to you or most exciting for you, like, around the world?
I think the most exciting thing for me now is that it feels like it's going back to its roots. I think the queer scene is the ones that are pushing the way, honestly. I think the young queer people of color and the new black kids that are making house music, that's the most exciting thing for me right at the moment. That's where the most vibrant, colorful energy is coming from. So I think for me, parties that sort of, going back to its roots, its diversity, its flamboyance, it's freedom, and those are the exciting things for me now.
For sure. I think it's so key. What advice could you give to artists that are just starting out?
Do you want the cynical part of me, or do you want the honest part of me?
Give me a bit of both. Why not?
I would probably say before the pandemic. No, I'm not going to say it's too controversial. I think the most important thing, create a space for yourself that is so undeniably good that you can't be ignored. And everyone is asking to be a part of something without contributing to it. Create your own record label, create your own party, get a collective together of like-minded people musically and start making music together. Create your own world. And when you create your own world, then that's how you start to build a name and a following for yourself. And I think you just have to be very open and clear about what you want to say and understand why are you getting in this game in the first place. So I ask people, like, why do they want to do what they want to do? And do they have clarity in what they want to say when they do it?
Your album Black Girl Magic is coming out. What's it been like trying to, promote and put together an album during a global pandemic?
Well, I think if you're an artist, there's so much to write about now, don't you think? There's so much to reflect. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to say. There's a wealth of information out there. I think most artists are very sensitive to world events and what's going on around them. And like, for instance, I could write a song about how it is to get laid during a pandemic.
Can you give us a whiskey cocktail recipe that anyone at home can try to make, but also
whiskey
maybe
cocktail I like to keep things just on the rocks.
Yeah.
I like it pure.
Can't go wrong with it on the rocks, to be fair.
I'm that kind of bitch. I like my shit straight and direct with some ice cubes in the middle.
Yeah.
Neat and chic, as they say.
Brilliant. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, honey.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. As one likes to say, I hope I kept shit, Gucci.
Yeah.
That's what the kids are saying these days.